Hey, what it do, what it do, what it do? It's your boy from the zoo. It's Aaron on Filthy in the building. You're welcome.
Thanks, Daddy.
Hey, what just slid across my desk right now is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
I know you lying.
Not really, but you get where I'm going with this. Anyways, she's out here in these streets. She's trying to combat what everybody's saying about exposing her for being a fake doctor. It ain't left up to me, it's actually left up to you to consider this and make a depiction. So without further ado, allow me to give this to you. Hey, what it do? It's your boy from the zoo. That boy is good.
He ain't lying.
It's Aaron on Filthy in the building. This to you. Let's go. Roll the clip.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant finally responded back to getting exposed brutally, and her response just made everything worse because her response essentially affirmed everybody's suspicion of her in the first place. Cheyenne Bryant is probably the best prosperity pimp we got in the game right now. She gonna sell you some prosperity now, but the problem is while she's selling the prosperity to provide the illusion of authority, she loves to add some juice to her credentials. Juicing up your credentials in a manner that Cheyenne Bryant does it is like a gray area, and some aspect of it is illegal. So a real doctor, right, Dr. Raquel Martin, who's a licensed clinical psychologist, she reacted to Cheyenne Bryant being confronted about her credentials on a Joe Budden podcast. Now, Cheyenne Bryant admits, right, comes clean that she's not licensed on a Joe Budden podcast. But what she proceeds to do after admitting she's not licensed is she proceeds to try to manipulate everybody.
Hold up, wait a minute. But she was going around saying that she was a therapist. No one else put those words in your mouth, ma'am. You're the one that actually went around telling people that you were a therapist. So how you then going to sit there and say that that's not what you said? This is real.
To make up for her not being licensed and having no explanation for why she's allowed to do what she's do. But the doctor spots it and points out, well, one, the manipulation, and then two, the dangers of what Cheyenne Bryant is doing. But the doctor spots it and points out, well, one, the manipulation, and then two, the dangers of what Cheyenne Bryant is doing.
I no longer practice under a license. Right now I'm in private practice, what I'm saying. And that's what people don't understand, right? So just to educate some folks a little bit.
Listen, whenever somebody starts talking to you like that, let me just educate some folks a little bit. She thinks of herself as somebody that's above you, all right? That she's smarter than you, you're dumb, all right? It's a difference between someone like shedding more light on the situation. They have different approach to things like that, all right? She chooses to speak the way how she speaks, which is actually demeaning or belittling. I'm just saying there's a way of going about doing things. That's how she chooses to do it. And if y'all accept it, y'all can't get mad when people start looking down at y'all and talking to y'all in any way. People will only treat you the way how you allow them to treat you. That's a fact. All right. Let's change all of this BS. Let's go.
Hello, my name is Dr. Raquel Martin. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, professor of sciences, and podcast host who specializes in Black health and well-being. And I want to break down a clip from the Joe Budden podcast featuring someone who presents herself as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. But before we dive in, I want to make something incredibly clear. Having a doctorate does not mean someone is a licensed mental health professional. You can have a doctorate in literature and be unlicensed, and you are still a doctor.
How would you allow her to do that, but you don't allow anyone in real life to actually do that? Come on, man. We got people out here that we second guess like 2 times fold, 10 times fold, and think they're trying to finesse us out of money, but we allow people like that to actually roam through the internet all the way around and nobody don't check it. Come on, we gotta stop doing that, man.
You can have a doctorate in education and hold an LPC, being a licensed professional counselor, and you are a licensed mental health professional, and you are still a doctor, but your doctorate is not in psychology. When evaluating anyone's credentials, it's really critical to look at 2 things: what their doctorate is actually in and whether they hold a relevant clinical license. In this case, the person you're about to hear from is unlicensed. I'm going to break down why that matters and why this particular message is harmful, especially to the Black community that she claims to be serving and that I actually serve.
Let me just add this in there real fast. The person needs to be licensed because it covers them and it also covers you. It covers you in a way that if something so happens to go wrong, you can follow the legal steps that you need to seek justice, all right? What if the person suffer from personality disorders? What if the person is bipolar? That's dangerous. I'm gonna let her cook because she's the professional and this is her field. So we're gonna watch what she's talking about real fast. And why we acting like everybody with the 2 letters DR with a dot in front of their first name are doctors? We all knew that Dre wasn't a doctor. We knew that DOC wasn't a doctor. I'm just saying, let's keep it moving.
A license is really only needed so you can bill insurance.
That is incredibly misleading. Yes, you do need a license to bill insurance, but that is not why licensure exists. Licensure protects you. It means I have completed specific education and supervised clinical hours, passed rigorous exams, and I'm accountable to a regulatory board. If I breach confidentiality, if I cross ethical boundaries or harm you, you have somewhere to file a complaint and be sure that I'm held accountable.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
It's as if the licensing board was created for charlatans who think a license is only needed to take your money. You see how that works? It's as if the licensing board was created for the charlatan who believes a license and credential is only needed so she could take your money. Okay. Now, why licensing is so important when talking about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Because her credentials are into question. Like, people talk a lot about Umar Johnson and his credentials. Umar Johnson, again, and we might have, our differences, but
we can't take away from the fact that Umar Johnson is actually a doctor. Umar Johnson do have a doctorate. That's one thing we can never take away from Umar Johnson. We can go and fact check it. We can look it up. We can't say that about her. Let's keep moving.
Umar Johnson is a doctor. Umar Johnson does have a doctorate degree, okay? I went through the National Student Clearinghouse. I confirmed it. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, 1, there's mystery in this. 2, not only is there mystery, but there's no way to ever confirm if she's a doctor or not. You know why?
And that's dangerous right there. If you can't confirm whether or not a person has a doctorate, but they're running around here calling themselves a doctor, that's bad. That's bad.
Because conveniently, the school she went to has closed down. Right? Like the school she went to was this like random miscellaneous, super odd, online degree, maybe credential, maybe not credential, school that ultimately closed down, and there's no way to confirm whether or not she's a doctor. So she conveniently got her degree from a school that you can't confirm if she's a doctor or not. So we got to take her word for it. The bio on her website says, Dr. Bryant, and she calls herself doctor, started college at 17 at California State University, where she earned a double degree in psychology and Pan-African studies. She went to earn a master's degree, but it says right here, she found clarity during her master's program at the University of Phoenix. It was there she realized her calling, healing herself, and others fueled by this revelation she pursued and earned. Okay, but
hey, Flacco, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing like that, but pick that lazy ass tongue up, man. No, that's my boy, but I'm just saying though. Anyways, we need to start looking into these online courses and understanding like whether or not they're accredited or not. If they're not accredited, then don't take the course. That's a waste of your time. That's a waste of your money. You got other things that you could be doing with your money. All right.
This is where it gets kind of odd, right? So she listed that she was enrolled in a master's program.
When you Google her name, that it specifically states that she has a doctorate and that she's a doctor, then how could Google then have it on there? Wouldn't Google also be responsible for any accusations, for any court proceedings in the future? Because, I mean, if it is a lie and if it is fake, that means 9 times out of 10, Google has falsified information on their site, pretending to be factual. Google, y'all might want to look into her and take down some of her stuff until you can prove it, okay? I'm just saying, just to protect y'all, I'm just saying, Google. Let's keep moving.
At the University of Phoenix, but doesn't list what she got her master's in. She never listed what she got her master's in, nor does she list if she ever finished the master's program.
I mean, if she did finish the master's, wouldn't she turn around and say what year she graduated and got her doctorate or her master's? You know what? Maybe I think a little too much. Maybe I think a little bit too ahead of the curve. I normally sat in the front of the class. I didn't sit in the back. But, to each his own. Let's go. Let's keep it moving.
We dealing with a straight prosperity pit. This is some cold stuff. What did you get your master's in? Did you finish it? She never said. All she says was when she was in the master's program at the University of Phoenix, that's when she found clarity and decided what she wanted to do. She never listed what she got her master's in. She probably don't got a master's. She then says she pursued and earned a doctorate in counseling psychology from Argosy University. Now, Argosy shut down in 2019. Now, before it got shut down, it lost its accreditation. So, worst case scenario, she completely lied about earning that doctorate, and we will never find out because, Argosy shut down. Who can you confirm it with? Best case scenario, she earned a doctorate in counseling psychology from a school that's not accredited whatsoever.
A license is not paperwork just for billing. It's a consumer protection. When someone drops or loses or no longer has a license, they're not solely avoiding the insurance hassle. They're also removing your recourse if something goes terribly wrong.
Not binded by BBS, the Behavior Board Science Rules and Regulations and Ethics, and so it just opened up a whole nother floor in industry for me.
And she's also saying this like it's a good thing. I want to state something really important. Ethics codes exist to protect you from exploitation and boundary violation and providers practicing outside of their competence.
Didn't I say that? Hey, look, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm pretty sure the rest of y'all thought about that too. If you're thinking what I'm thinking the way I'm thinking what I'm thinking, that means you think like me and I think the way how you think. Just think about this.
When someone celebrates being free from ethical oversight, I want you to think of that as a red flag, a flashing one. It's a warning sign because those rules exist because real harm happens when they're not in place. So celebrating that you don't have to be accountable to that should be concerning to you.
As a therapist, two things. You can obviously make what you deserve because therapy is real. We're giving everything we have in there.
Cheyenne, you and I both know you don't give a let alone two. Stop it. Let's keep it moving.
It's not us sitting there, well, if you're an effective therapist, saying, tell me more. You should be unpacking, and you should be able to take somebody and drive with them to their goal.
And here's another thing. She keeps calling herself a therapist, and in most states, that's actually illegal without a license. You cannot legally use the title therapist or provide psychotherapy without licensure. What she's describing now is coaching, and coaching and therapy are fundamentally different.
That's another thing too. Hey, when you're dealing with these people that's so-called talking about being coaches, life coaches and stuff like that, please be very careful, all right? Most of these people, and I'm not taking nothing away from them, you probably have some very good people out there that are life coach. I'm not going to take nothing away from them. But let's be careful about who we're calling life coaches and who are not coaches. Let's just be honest about that. If you need to go to a therapist, go to a therapist, all right? Go to a psychologist. All of this stuff with life coaches and all of this extra stuff, just go to the people that are qualified to be in the position that they're in. Point blank, period.
Coaches help with goals and accountability. Therapists are trained to diagnose and treat mental health conditions, trauma and depression and suicidality and psychosis. If someone with untreated bipolar disorder or PTSD thinks they're getting therapy from a coach, they're going to be seriously harmed. These are actual conditions that go undiagnosed and untreated, especially within the Black community.
She's absolutely right. What she's doing is literally illegal. But here's the thing. She will simultaneously go from I'm a therapist, to I've never identified as a therapist.
Because the Nile is not just a river in Egypt.
You just heard her say, as a therapist, we do this, and this, right?
Hey, maybe she just believes in the Mandela effect and she probably thinks she Mandela. I'm just saying, you was thinking the same thing too. She thinks if she says it enough, it'll undo her doings from the past and all of that. You know that. You was thinking the same thing I was thinking. We see here. That's why you here, because we see here. We see here. All right, let's keep moving. Roll the clip.
But in response to this video exposing her for being unethical, she writes, I don't need a license because I'm not a therapist. I'm a psychology expert and life coach. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to grasp about that. Coaches do not need a license. I do not identify as a therapist, but we just heard her say as a therapist.
As a therapist, two things: you can obviously make what you deserve, because therapy is real. We're giving everything we have in there.
Now, Flacco, this is where she could come in at and say that this is not what she meant. She could turn around and say that I said as a therapist, but I didn't say I was a therapist. She could say, oh, it was the people that thought or assumed that I was a therapist, but I never said that. So,
And we're unpacking shit and we're helping you process through things. So,
but when she gets caught and exposed and realized the gig is up, she then tries to manipulate us and convince us our ears didn't hear what our ears heard. She goes, my bio does not say therapist, and my website does not say therapist. Anywhere on it, it clearly says psychology expert and life coach. But that Joe Budden podcast was not the only time she identified as a therapist. She identified as a therapist during the Cam Newton podcast.
marriage, like the Bible says, is cleaving. Cleaving does this.
Hey, y'all stop that. I already know what y'all was thinking. I already know what y'all was thinking. Stop it. We got to focus. That's what's wrong with us as a people. We got to focus. Focus. Let's get back to work. We're cooking here.
Back to this information. Let's go.
Cleaving does this. Cleaving doesn't do this. And so when people come to me married, they're doing similar to Mama's statement. They're coming to me like this. And so I'm not counseling married couples. I'm counseling individuals who are coming with so many issues within themselves that they married on paper, but they ain't never even had a chance to be married mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, intellectually in any way. But what happens is, as I help them as individuals process through their traumas and their pain and their intergenerational issues, they magically either usually cleave or, not many, but some depart. Because you cannot cleave without shedding. And the shedding that cleaving takes is the shedding of your stuff.
Man, she's not saying it the way how it needs to be said. Basically, in order to move forward in life, you got to let go of your past. If you want change in your life, you have to let go and shed the old you to become the new you. Let go of things that's holding you back in life.
Your ego, your emotions, your trauma, your pain pockets. And when you shed of that, the cleaving was already waiting there for you. So it's not that anyone, even other therapists,
as in myself, I'm a therapist as well.
But again, like I said, she can use that as an scapegoat to turn around and say, well, I didn't say I am a therapist. She said as a therapist.
Now, one thing I can say that I take issue with is, how is it that she's able to do this, claim herself to be a doctor, claim to be a therapist, right? And there's no way to prove it. But you mean to tell me that the United States went after Dr. Sebi for no reason, and Dr. Sebi did not call himself a doctor? It was the people that appointed him a doctor. He never called himself that in the first place. And he never claimed that he healed anyone. He said that the herbs heal people. So if the United States can turn around and then go to Dr. Sebi and take him to court, and this man is fighting for his life, not to go to prison for the rest of his life, he was able to vindicate himself. Why is it that she has not been put on trial yet?
So she could further exploit the community without, being locked up and going to the feds.
For sure. I'm just saying, but let's say I do realize it and you're licensed. You're saying I can call somebody.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're not, I can't call anybody. That feels like an out. It's like if I were a restaurant owner and I decide, well, I'm not with the Better Business Bureau. It's like, or I'm not with the health department. Like, don't you have to sign up with these people?
Not if you're licensed, yes, that's part of like who you're licensed with. But if you're, say you're a coach, you can decide to, like, there are some ways that you can be certified, but you don't have to. Like, anyone can state that they're a coach. Anyone can't state that you're a licensed mental health professional.
I get it. So if I'm a mental health professional, I have to be licensed. I can't opt out. But if I use the word life coach, I can, or career coach or relationship coach, whatever, that's the workworkaround. The workaround is just saying you're not that thing. You give it, naming it something else.
Yeah, there's no regulatory body on coaching. People can take the there are like certain ways that you can, it's not certified, but like there's like the International Coaching Federation and there's the National Board of Health and Wellness and Coaching. You can decide to go through that like credentialing ecosystem, but it's voluntary. You can just decide that like, oh, I'm really good at problem solving. I problem solve my problems. I problem solve my husband's problems, my friend's problems. I'm a problem.
Make it mandatory that you need to be licensed in order to become a life coach. Just make it mandatory. All of us need to be a life coach then, because most of us know how to make proper rational decisions and problem solving. That's what we do. In order to be successful, you have to problem solve and be very good at it. You can't be successful and suck at problem solving. That's a fact. So all of us can do that. Well, most of us can problem solve. You get what I'm saying. You know what? Let's get back to the video.
Like that's what I do. There's no regulatory body on that. You can say that whenever you want.
Here's what and I don't want to spend too much time on Dr. Bryant because this isn't about her, but it's just a good example.
No, go ahead and continue to elaborate on Dr. Bryant. There's nothing wrong with that. Continue. I mean, we need to get to the nitty gritty here. We're getting to the meat and the potatoes here. Pause. We're getting straight to the point. Let's go.
Example. But she is self-identified as a therapist, as a psychologist. So when she's giving the advice, doesn't that give at least the impression that this is mental health professional work happening?
Yeah, but that's one of the biggest issues I have. Like the biggest, I think some people took from the video, if they weren't familiar with my work, because if anyone's familiar with me, they know I cape for coaches all day. I'm like, yeah, right. Like there are fantastic coaches out there. But there's no coach worth their salt that won't be like starting off, even when like most of them do it in their consultation. Just a heads up, I am a coach. Like I am not a therapist. Like, and I want to tell you the difference. Additionally, if we get to a point where I feel like this is outside of coaching and this is outside of, and it's into therapy, I'm going to give you a referral. Like every coach I know who does coaching, that's what they do. The issue is the same way that there is no regulatory body on the aspect of coaching. I don't particularly know what a psychology expert is. Like I don't, like that's not, there's no regulatory body on that. Also, therapy and being a therapist is more so a category. It's like as a psychologist, as a licensed professional counselor, as a licensed clinical social worker, as a licensed marriage and family therapist, as a psychiatrist, as a psychiatric nurse practitioner. These are all people who are licensed and they can conduct therapy. It's like an umbrella term, but all of those individuals are licensed. You cannot call yourself a therapist if you are not a licensed mental health professional. So that is an issue. And even in some states, it's actually illegal to refer to yourself that way. Like if
you going to jail, man. You going to jail. I can pull up about 10 different instances of Cheyenne Bryant saying she's a therapist and therapists like her. So if anybody came to you and paid for her services under, the assumption that she's a therapist, it's over with, man.
You know what? I'm not going to go any further in this video right here. What I got to say is y'all be careful going out there paying for services that technically these people are not qualified to be in those positions, because guess what? If they ruin your life, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And there's no way to take legal course or legal action against these particular type of individuals. There's no way to take legal course against these individuals if anything goes left or if anything goes down. So if I was y'all, be careful. If you start doing your research when it comes to these individuals, and please stop spending your money with these type of individuals that's selling snakeskin oil. I'm just saying. Well, I ain't got nothing else to say about the situation. You know what I mean? Y'all do. Leave your comments in the comment section. I ain't like, share, comment, and subscribe. All right. Until then, we on our way to 100 subscribers, man. Go ahead and subscribe. It don't cost you a thing. I'm here to stay. You all right? I'm here to stay. All right. So let's keep it moving. Until then, I'm out this. Peace.